after some inspiration from Craig, I thought it'd be a good idea just to map out sort of my rocky road to where I am today, and sort of what's made me become the person I am, make the decisions I have, and then sort of what decisions I'm going to make going forward. It's just for your sake, instead of just reading it, because obviously it lacks a lot of context. So if you want to just put this on in the background, whilst you go back to my portfolio, then I'll have a quick talk for it. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be quite brief. I feel like if I wanted to do it fully, and I really wanted to map out everything that I've done and every single thing in my life, it'd probably take a good couple of days. So I've just thought I'd put in some of the main ones, some of the points in my life of where stuff might have happened, and then I will include some details that aren't actually on the thing. So starting off on the first one, as a kid, I'd probably say from up to age 7, I was quite the mummy's boy, quite protected. We didn't really have a lot growing up. Obviously, I know a lot of people do say that, but I think mum was a dinner lady at the time, and my dad fitted beer pumps for like hotels and stuff like that on the side. So up till I think till about age 5 or 6 is when my mum and dad got the first house. Before that, they were living above a laundrette next to my granddad's cafe that they owned. Don't get me wrong, I've never been, not had anything. They've always provided for me, but I'm quite happy that I've got the parents I have, as they've definitely shaped me to who I am today. At 7, I started playing football, totally my own decision. My dad didn't put me into it because he had quite a pushy parent, I'd probably say, who forced him into sport, wanted him to do well, and I think John, you'll know, listening to this and seeing your experiences, that sometimes them sort of parents don't work, and for me, I don't think that would have worked. So I've got to give my dad props for that. I'd probably say when I started football, I was the worst player in the team for about 3 to 4 years. Literally played about 5 minutes a game, cried all the time, was a little baby. Got to 11, probably the most shocking thing to ever happen to any player in Blackpool. I got scouted for Everton at 11, being one of the worst players. I think this was due to the pitch getting bigger, and in terms of my sort of physical attributes, I'm very quick. As well, obviously not being big-headed, but I was very quick. I was very direct. Wasn't technically great at all, so I just didn't have that training. I wasn't really forced into it. So, but my physical attributes were what guided me there. Was there for about a year in and around development centres. Then I left there after a year. Came out definitely more technical, more tactical. Had a bit of an inspiration really for football and wanting to do well. Played grassroots in Blackpool for a couple of years. Thinking about my football career, it was pretty good. I'd probably say I was in and around all the county teams. I was always getting asked about academies, always getting asked about development centres. Pretty much winning like the local leagues, sort of the Lancashire leagues, all that sort of stuff. In terms of high school, I'd probably say I was one of the people. In fact, there was only 76 people in my high school. For other high schools, for example, it was around 200 to 300 kids per one. But for mine, there was 76 in my year. Sorry, not my high school. So there's like 300 pupils per year in other high schools in Blackpool. But for mine, there was 76. So I went quite to a limited school. So in terms of my ability to play sport, I was obviously captain for most things. Did every sport club, after school club. Going to play different schools, doing town sports, that sort of thing. So I was sort of quite looked up to be honest, in my school. I used to play with the year 11s, the year 10s when I was in like year 8 and 9. So I had a pretty good reputation in that sense, and I guess comes with that comes a bit of like your social identity. And in my life, obviously, everyone's probably done it before. Everyone sort of bullied someone, maybe not bullied, but I've always been the one to stand up for people. Like if someone's getting bullied, I always bullied the bully, if that made sense. And it's never really the best thing to do, but I just thought it was my obligation, or my like social like maturity was wanted to do that, because like I hated people like being bullied for no reason. But yeah, I've never really had any problems through school. Quite a good kid. Top sets most thing. did pretty well. I was quite lazy, I'd probably say, though. GCSEs I'd coasted with quite a few C's, but I think I got 8 C's, 1 B, 1 A star, but um, what I sort of did in year 10 and 11 was figured out how to get a C, and then in my GCSEs just got the C. I didn't really care. Then I went to sixth form. In fact, that doesn't come in this one yet. Started coaching at the age of 16 or 15, 16. Sorry, rewind that again actually. Got scouted for Blackpool and Preston at 14, 15. My football career sort of rocketed. I was probably one of the best players in Blackpool at the time. Was sort of smashing it out. And from there, really, that's when I started to lose my love for football. Really wasn't getting sort of nurtured by the coaches very well. They weren't supporting me very well. Found it quite hard to interact with them, and they just didn't really help me through the process. So ended up started coaching on the side just to maybe get myself a bit more. Well, I actually can't tell you why I got into coaching. I just did it because I thought it looked good and I quite enjoyed it. And my dad was my football coach all my life, so maybe I just looked up to him. But as you can tell in the next bit, it's sort of a rapid decline from here on out for my enjoyment of football. Ended up Morecambe, got a contract, but said no, I just left football altogether. If you want to go down to part 2 now. Sixth form was just, for this, it's not really an exciting part of my life. I just sort of coasted through sixth form, played football, grassroots again, but it was rubbish. Really, really poor standard. I just lost all will to play. Finished sixth form with highest grades. And then this is sort of the main turning point in my life, with a sort of a slow decline in my health. Obviously being the person I am, the sporty person, always had good health, never was really poorly or anything like that, but it sort of started to dawn on me that I couldn't play football properly anymore. I was struggling to run, and I've always been a runner, struggling to wake up in the morning, struggling to do the simplest tasks. My legs were starting to ache a lot. And then obviously I got into uni, living on my own, and I found a lot of excuses for why my health was getting bad. I thought it was myself, my diet, not looking after myself at uni, but in fact it was my current disease of Crohn's disease, which took me around 7 to 8 months to actually get diagnosed with that. So I went 7 to 8 months with an illness that I didn't know I had, lost 20 kilograms in weight. I weighed the same as a 5'2" girl, probably. Just actually putting that into perspective, my girlfriend now, she's 5'4". She weighs about 8 stone, nothing on her, and I was the same weight at my lowest. Never left my room at uni, never wanted to, didn't enjoy myself. Really, really dark time, but I guess that's what comes in life sometimes. I know you know yourself, John, listening to this now, that I spoke to you about it a few times, not in deep, but it's just everything just comes 100 times harder because of obviously the side effects that comes with it, like fatigue and stuff. But then after the diagnosing of it, after getting some treatment, after getting some medication, that sort of stuff, after just probably scraping through first year, my health started to go up. And I think once you've been to the lowest you could possibly ever go, nothing seems hard anymore, if that makes sense. Say, for example, uni didn't really feel hard because I wasn't poorly while doing it. Or football didn't seem hard because I wasn't poorly well, I'm still poorly, but not as poorly. So hard tasks were seeming easier because I wasn't going through the worst illness possible yet, if that makes sense. So I wasn't in the worst part of it. But yeah, my health started to slowly get better. I think you might know Will Knoll from last year, John. I lived with him for a couple of years, and he really helped me out, maybe get a bit motivated for the gym. Don't get me wrong, sometimes he didn't really understand my illness and what I sort of needed, but in terms of motivation, he helped me get into the gym. Got to probably the most peak physical fitness I ever was last year, which was pretty crazy considering still living with the illness. But then my mental health started to get loads better. Started to enjoy my life again, really. Year 2, quite enjoyed the uni work, put myself into it, got a 2-1, was happy, I just wanted a 2-1, that was it. never dreamt of getting firsts. But yeah, year 2 was pretty boring really. It was just me trying to get over life. Started at Preston though in year 2. Started at soccer club, started getting paid for what I do. Volunteering at Preston though, and I don't know, I'd still say in year 2 I didn't really have desire to push for more, you know what I mean? I never had a deep motivation to be the best I could or whatever. It was when I got into third year maybe, and it just sort of dawned on me that I do enjoy this stuff. I've always been quite bright. I just sort of lost my spark because of my illness and maybe not playing sport, but got back into sport, got back playing football, got back to coaching regularly, got back to smashing uni out, started getting on loads of firsts, and then obviously coronavirus hit, and for me, it was just a strange time. It just didn't seem real to me, but in the same time, wasn't really worrying. I think my family were worrying more, and then you know yourself, I got put in a caravan for 4 months, which, to be honest, it was tough because I just built myself up again. Built myself up to the point where my mental health was good, my physical health was good, and then now I'm in a caravan for 4 months, isolating. Don't get me wrong, after 2 to 3 months, I ended up starting to go out on my bike on my own. So that was good. If I didn't do that, then God knows where my mental health would be again. But yeah, I started getting out. But during all this, I still had my dissertation to do. There was a uni work to do. I was finding motivation to do it, but I think the main point in my life and what I get from all this is nothing seems hard to me anymore because I know how hard life was at the lowest point. So this sort of stuff is a minor inconvenience. And don't get me wrong, it's not just the illness. My life has been I've been around that to the point where my family have always been like that. They always help me through. They always say it's nothing major, you can do it. Like there's no task too hard for you. And just having that tenacity really of being able to do anything. But since the illness, I just felt like I've always been able to do stuff, and that, like I said, I've enjoyed myself. Third year was really good, learned more than I've ever done. Just about life in general, really, about my values and beliefs and commitment and not being lazy and motivation and just finding a real compassion for everything I do. And so yeah, that was just an amazing sort of year. Even though the coronavirus was there, it did have a big effect on me. I just got on with it, and that's the real turning point and where I realised life isn't hard. So then I was just being content with my studies, learning things, optimistic about my future at this point. And then sort of comes on to masters now, and I've not decided to put this in as a thing because obviously it'd be a part 4 and it'd be almost like one thing. So I'll just talk about it a bit. And don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed the masters quite a bit. Learned more than I ever thought. Started to realise that when I've been growing up in life and I've always had those thoughts where I was more of a critical thinker than most. I was always quite witty. I was always the one that the teacher said, if a joke got told to a class, it'd go over everyone else's heads apart from Scott. And I've started to realise that I'm a bit more of a critical thinker, and why I think so much, and all these things that yourself, John, have been introducing to us as a class and stuff. And it's been quite good to get into it. And it's really changed my mind on things and how I see my own reality now. And I just see it as like it's almost bullshit, isn't it? Really, life, because it's not as plain sailing as your emotions will tell you it is. Like if something happens, it's not. You don't have to go into what everyone else would do. You don't have to mourn like everyone else would do. Your social norms aren't real. Just deal with it how you want to think in your own head of what it is. Sometimes it's not even bad. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm getting over things now, and things like when things would annoy me in the past, and now I just think, who cares? What's the point? Like, that's life. Who actually cares? But yeah, I've really enjoyed sort of the masters and learning all this stuff, but it's getting quite tough now. I think this lockdown has hit me harder than the other ones. Not gonna lie. Not being able to get out, not being physically fit, not having anything to do, not working or anything, it has hit me quite hard. So, but it's just having that motivation to get on with it, get on with the portfolio, get on with work. Don't get me wrong, there's been days that I just really have given up and not really want to do anything and not coming to uni and stuff like that, but it's one of them. I just think in my head over time, it's not even bad. Literally, it's fine. Your life's fine. So yeah, let's just see what comes of it. What I might do this year, who knows? Got quite a few options in terms of coaching. I think I might take a bit of a break from education. Just go into work now, but yeah, hope you've enjoyed listening to sort of a brief life story, to be honest, because if I went into details, it'd probably take hours. So yeah, I'm quite glad I did this as a little rocky road sort of thing and understanding, but I might even, depending on how this goes, I might do another or critically reflect on sort of the minor points of maybe just coaching or just sport in life. But in terms of how it's gone, pretty good. I hope you've enjoyed listening. I understand it's quite a long one, this one, considering compared to my other videos. Probably rambled on about random shite that probably said the same thing about 100 times, but I think it just painted the picture pretty well. So yeah, thanks for listening.